What is up, folks? It is your boy Bibbs here. Glad to be back after a little bit of a break on this podcast. I've been busy with both the Mavs Outsiders podcast and now the movie podcast, Have You Seen, is finally up and rolling under the rebrand. So excited about both of those things, of course. But I still got to do my thing over here. Like this is where I get my practice reps in, if you will. So the Mavs got a win tonight against a team that they should have beaten, and that's fine. We did what we were supposed to do. But we got the lead to a comfortable point, relaxed again to make it dramatic at the end. But it's whatever, I'll take whatever W's we can get. Don't want to waste a lot of time on this cold open, so let's take a quick break and get into this game recap. Look, I know y'all are tired of the same old ads, and they were probably kind of long, so let me condense that for you a bit. I'm partnering with 4 companies right now, and I'm going to tell you about 2 of them here. Mondo for movie merchandise and Alamo Drafthouse for movie tickets. If you go to my website, bibscorner.com, hit the support the show tab and scroll down. Just browse the Mondo site. You might see movie posters you like or other type of merchandise. Everything's handcrafted in limited edition as well. As far as the Alamo Drafthouse, you can get tickets or gift cards through the site. And if you do, it helps me out. So again, hit that link or let me know if you want me to send you the link. I'll be glad to do so. Mondo movie merchandise, Alamo Drafthouse, best in theater experience, in my opinion. And without further ado, let's get back into this recap. Hello and welcome back yet again to the Bibbs Corner podcast. I'm your host, as always, Mike Bibbins, on Twitter at Bibbs Corner. Now we're going to get straight into what I liked and what I didn't like about the game tonight. So first of all, Luka getting busy. He looked like he was hungry tonight. I think he gets up for games against his friends, and he seems to get along with Vucevic pretty well. He also looked like he wanted to close tonight, stepping up about later in the fourth quarter. We won't talk about what happened at the very end, but up until then, he was doing what he was supposed to do. Jalen Brunson, big-time game. Huge off the bench, just a certified bucket right now. And, he's been great lately. Third, Maxey looked more like himself tonight. Couldn't do much with Vucevic, but, not many people can. Otherwise, whenever he got switched on to anybody else, he was doing the job. He was moving his feet well. He hit some threes. He was on the glass. He did a little bit of everything tonight. So, glad to see Maxey play that way. And finally, KP against Vucevic. Defensively, he did a pretty good job. He held his ground. He challenged shots at the top. Most of Vucevic's moves and whatnot are usually pretty muscle memory. He knows he can get his shot off over pretty much anybody in the league. But with KP, he had Vucevic thinking a little bit because of his extreme length. So definitely good to see that. If you're not going to hit your shots, you have to give us something on defense. You have to get on the glass. So I felt like he did those things for the most part. What I didn't like, defensively, we still managed to be atrocious overall. We were probably lucky that Fournier got hurt in this game, actually. I feel like he and Vucevic were barely missing tonight. And if he had stayed in, he hadn't gotten hurting. Did I just make up a word? Oh my God. Don't judge me, guys. If he hadn't gotten hurt, then the game probably would have been a little bit more interesting. So, but I'll take whatever I can get. Secondly, I mentioned it slightly in the Luka portion, but letting our foot off the gas, letting our foot off their neck at the end of the game. They cut the lead to 5, and then Brunson turns the ball over. They have the ball in their hands, down 5 with, I believe it was at that point like 17 seconds left. So let's say they hit a 3 there, and they really could have called a foul on Ross's attempt if they wanted to. But let's say they hit a 3 there. Now it's a 2-point game. Like, we put ourselves in position to blow this game yet again. Mavs gonna Mav, right? So whatever, we close it out. We got the win. And I actually didn't write this down, but I'm gonna mention it now. But KP just chucking shots is annoying. He has to be more than that offensively. I noticed the times where they tried to run a pick and roll with him, he was not able to barely get past the free throw line on those roll attempts. Didn't matter who it was, they were impeding his progress, and he was allowing it to occur. Whenever his shot wasn't wide open, he was moving the ball a bit, but he wasn't moving it and then trying to get inside. He wasn't really cutting much. He was hunting 3-point shots, and he can't do that. He has to be more than that offensively. We'll get into that more here in a second, but that had to be the third thing I mentioned on my did not like. So with that said, let's go into the stats for tonight, the box score. Luka, of course, led the way, 33 points, 10 boards, 9 assists, 12 for 22 from the field, 5 for 10 from 3, 4 for 6 from the line, and he did have an offensive rebound. Very solid all-around Luka game. Hit some big shots like I mentioned, including a late step-back 3 that was just ridiculous. He was very disrespectful at different points during this game. Gotta love Luka. I will not take him for granted. Secondly, DFS. The more he has games like this, the more it's very clear that position is the position we need to upgrade. And really, there might be talent on this team that we can replace DFS with at this point. If Maxi's going to be back more healthy, and if our offense or if our defense is going to be ass with him and Maxi on the court together anyway, give me more offense. Give me Brunson in the starting lineup with Luka, KP, J. Rich, and Maxi. We go too big up top. Luka's still 6'8", so Brunson, we can afford Brunson and Richardson on the court together. I'm here for it. I'm here for it at this point. I don't think DFS is adding enough to justify him playing the second most minutes on the team. I'm not seeing it. It's just not. It's not working for me. So anyway, DFS tonight: 6 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, and a block. 3 for 5 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3. And again, I stand by that point. I don't think he needs to be starting. A lot of people mentioned that, in a perfect world, he's a bench player. And the fact that he's not is a testament to how bad our roster is. I agree with that, but I also think that there's guys on our bench that could contribute more than he does right now. Third player to come up here is KP. Finished the night with 17 points, 10 boards, 3 assists, a steal, and a block. He was 5 for 15 from the field. I believe he was 1 for 10 in the first half. He made his first shot and then missed the next 9. Finished the game 3 for 10 from 3, which means 10 3-point attempts, 5 shots with inside the arc for him. 4 for 4 from the line. Did have an offensive rebound. It was a big putback dunk, but not enough from him on the interior tonight. And Vucevic is not exactly a world beater on the interior to where KP needed to be restricted to being outside the 3-point line. And I'm not sure he even played defense against KP most of the night. I don't know. Again, got to give us more than just jump shots. Or you're just a big THJ. That's his stat line. If I had said it was THJ besides the rebounds, you would have believed me. And again, the only reason I'm not going completely in on him is because he did do the rebounding. He did get the double-digit rebounds, and he did a decent job when he played against Vucevic defensively. So if you're not going to hit the shots, give me something else. He gave me a little bit of something else, so it is what it is. Jay Rich, pretty quiet night from him offensively. Did make some plays defensively. It kind of balances out. So 11 points, 2 boards, 4 assists. Had 2 blocks tonight. 4 for 11 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3, 2 for 2 from the line. He also had an offensive rebound. And then finally, Maxey. I mentioned he had a nice game tonight. 13 points, 6 boards, an assist, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. 4 for 6 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3. 2 for 2 from the line. He also had an offensive rebound and a team-leading plus 13 on the night. Again, Maxey's looked more like himself in this game. We'll see if that's something that is going to be a trend moving forward, that he's getting healthier, or if tonight was a fluke soon. And then finally we move to the bench. Jalen Brunson played 29 minutes off the bench, which matched Jay Rich's minutes. So tied for 4th on the team in minutes. He finished with 24 points off the bench, 6 boards, 3 assists, and a steal. He was 9 for 13 from the field, which means he was 3rd in field goal attempts. 3 for 6 from 3, 3 for 5 from the line. He also had an offensive rebound. Just a huge game from Brunson. I'd love to see that kind of production off the bench. Again, I would be perfectly fine with him starting over Dorian Finney-Smith. Do we need his firepower off the bench? Maybe not. Stagger him and Luka. I don't care. THJ was very quiet tonight. 5 points, 2 boards, 4 assists, and a steal. 2 for 8 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3. Dwight Powell had an interesting night. 8 points and 4 boards. 3 for 4 from the field, 2 for 2 from the line, and an offensive rebound, which he turned over immediately, but that's another story. Had a couple big dunks tonight, which, again, is nice to see. Again, he's coming off the Achilles. I like to see him getting up comfortably and moving around a good bit. So, not going to complain about Powell. I believe he got extra minutes tonight because Willie Cauley-Stein got hurt. Cauley-Stein, in his time, did have 2 points, a board, and an assist. His 2 points came on a baseline jumper, and he did have his 1 rebound was an offensive rebound. So, again, went down with the injury. We're not sure how serious it is. Sprained his thumb going after a block from what I saw, and then was ruled out for the rest of the game. I believe that happened in the second quarter. So the only other Mav to play tonight was Trey Burke, who I listened to the Magic broadcast, and apparently he's a versus Magic all-star. Did have 29 against him earlier in the season. Tonight, he had 11 points, 1 board, 2 assists in just under 10 minutes. So did some damage in very limited time. 4 for 5 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, 2 for 2 from the line. So not going to complain about any production we can get from Burke with the way he's been kind of quiet lately. Moving forward, my player of the game tonight is Luka. He had a few ridiculous passes tonight to make you want to slap your mother. He had the huge 3 that I consider the dagger, even though we still made it interesting at the end. And, of course, just, I believe, an assist shy of a triple-double. Can't hate on the performance from Luka. I was tempted to give it to Brunson, but he actually had he didn't have as big a game as I would have needed for him to get it over Luka with the way this game played out. And we'll see what happens with that going forward, but no problem giving it to Luka. But speaking of Jalen Brunson, tweets of the night, I got 2 here. First one comes from T, Texas Queen T, or TX Queen T on Twitter. Jalen Brunson is our second best player. Y'all have a good night. And then your guy Charles went even further. The question we should all be asking is Jalen Brunson better than Chris Bosh ever was? And this is a reference to some reporter saying that Julius Randle is better than Chris Bosh, better right now than Chris Bosh at his peak, which is a ridiculously dumb take. But the overall story, I personally had a tweet saying vote with the Jalen Brunson All-Star vote. But Brunson's been hooping, and going back to T's comment, it would be hard to argue against it. At the very least, I would say he's probably our second best asset behind Luka. So, not going to complain about Brunson hooping. I'm not going to act like I'm surprised Brunson is hooping. I do believe he can be a starter in this league, and apparently he's trying to get there sooner rather than later. So, will it be with the Mavs? We'll see. It's going to be an interesting next year or so for him with his extension coming up as well. So, another quick break. My voice is getting a little dry over here, and then we'll come back in. I'll do the NBA news. A lot of interesting things happening around the league, and then we'll do our parting thoughts and get out of here. Okay, folks, second plug of the night. If you've cut the cord or you're looking to cut the cord, I've actually partnered with two streaming services as well, Vidgo and Philo. Vidgo offers a comprehensive sports package, and Philo's more focused on the scripted TV networks. If you're interested in maybe taking a look, go again to the support the show tab on the bibscorner.com website. Scroll down until you see those links and give them a look. And while I'm here, I do have merch available on the website right now as well. Right now, just hoodies, masks, and stickers. If you're interested in any other type of merch, anything that you would want to have that has the Bibs Corner logo on it, cups, whatever, let me know. I can make it happen. And without further ado, let's get back into this NBA news. All right, folks, welcome back. Let's run through this NBA news, 10 stories from the past few days. First story is the Raptors being hit by COVID right now. They actually were without 5 coaches due to health and safety protocols the other day. Sergio Scarillo had to step up to coach the team. I believe they got the W that night as well. Their game on Sunday was postponed against the Bulls. And, of course, this comes after the schedules came out, so they're going to have to figure out where to fit that game in later. The game tomorrow being Tuesday, which is probably when you're listening to this, so the game today was tentatively pushed to Wednesday. So we'll see if that works out as well, because now if they don't want to have to reschedule completely 2 games, if they can push it a day, definitely want to try to make that happen. The next story on the docket, I'll just bring it up real quick. DeMarcus Cousins has still not signed with a team, which is interesting. The Lakers actually went and signed Damian Jones, who was released by the Suns. So where will he land? We shall see. Oladipo turned down 2 years, $45 million from the Rockets. Apparently that's the maximum extension they can offer him right now. So they will be in the bidding war with everyone else in the offseason, it appears. JJ Redick and Eric Bledsoe are very available, apparently. The Pelicans are making that known. JJ Redick, I believe, had a big game tonight, so that's fun for his value on the market. We'll see what happens there as we approach the trade deadline, a little over 3 weeks away. Lloyd Pierce was fired by the Atlanta Hawks, replaced by Nate McMillan, a move that many saw miles away. We'll see what happens with the Hawks going forward. The Spurs will begin admitting fans on March 12th. They're going to start with 3,200 and go from there. That's going to be after the All-Star break and after we play them on the 10th. So, well, going to be interesting to watch how that progresses. And now I'm going to plug myself again because this is my podcast and I can do that. If you're into movie reviews, check out the Have You Seen, and that's SCENE podcast. It's going to be myself. I'll be bringing on different guests every single episode to talk about movies that have come out over the past month or so. I'm going to try to keep it pretty close to the releases, but right now I'm playing catch up because I had not released any episodes in 2021 so far. The first episode in the Have You Seen series was just released, and it features my boy Shad Miller of the Uncool Urban podcast. We talked about the Zendaya and John David Washington movie, Malcolm and Marie. Fun conversation. Coming up, I'll be doing a conversation with my boy Mike on St. Maud, I believe, is what we're going to do. I'm going to bring Shad back for the conversation on Judas and the Black Messiah. And right now, I think I'm going to try to kick out more than one a week, but typically it'll be one a week. We'll see how it goes going forward. But check out the podcast. I enjoy talking about films, and having those conversations with other people is definitely going to make it more fun. The first half of the reviews on the podcast are going to be the non-spoiler section with a rating out of 5 stars. You can then cut it off if you haven't seen the movie, if you're sold on watching it. And then after that, we'll get into the spoilers. So if you've seen the movie, you just want to hear a conversation about it, definitely listen all the way through, or, listen to the first half, go watch it, come back, listen to the second half. Anyway, moving forward, listen to the Mavs Outsiders podcast. It's myself, my man Reese, from the Mind of Reese podcast, talking Mavs basketball once a week, recapping the week. We try to have fun with it. And then finally, we once a month are going to be doing a panel or a roundtable where we bring 3 people on from the Mavs community to talk about the past month and what we see happening going forward. The last episode we did was one of those panels. We had, again, my boy Shad. We brought on Mia from the Hot Take season, and Sterling Andrew came on, and we had some fun, good conversation. Talked about Mavs basketball and some other things. So definitely check out the Mavs Outsiders podcast if you have not already. But let's get back to the NBA news. Joakim Noah announced that he's officially retiring, hoping to retire as a Bull. Definitely miss watching Joakim Noah play basketball. His passion, his fieriness, his inability to contain himself from talking. Love Noah. Wish he had gotten his opportunity to really flourish on a title run type team with D-Rose, but injuries kind of took away all that fun that they had. And then the last thing I wanted to mention in the NBA news, Jeremy Lin recently mentioned being called coronavirus on the court in the G League bubble. There's currently an investigation to try to figure out who said it. He's not saying who it was, and basically pointed out the fact that he's not the only one that has to deal with those types of things. So he's not trying to necessarily sound special, but there's currently a wave of anti-Asian violence in the country, which doesn't get talked about much. It's starting to make a little bit of noise right now, but he's a prominent Asian figure. He's gonna step up and talk about the issues that are facing his people. So it's tough, man. To have to take that on, as well as the battle to try to get back in the NBA, is probably a lot for Jeremy, especially being stuck in the bubble right now. So we'll see what comes out of the investigation. And so finally, we move to our parting thought of the night. Don't want to linger on this one, but a lot of talk about there potentially being tension between Luka and KP. I think if you watch the games, it's pretty obvious that there's something going on there. neither one of them is going to say it necessarily, but I do believe that there's some level of resentment. Not necessarily resentment, envy, jealousy, whatever, but it appears that KP is bothered by how prominently featured Luka is, wanting to be featured more, wanting more touches. Probably doesn't like all the love and attention that Luka gets. Probably in his own head about his health. Probably in his own head about trade rumors. I'm sure there's a lot going on for KP. I'm sure it's not easy. But I believe he got into an altercation with Rick last game and kicked a chair. Visibly, he and Luka like not communicating or on the same page in the last game as well. They had the 50-foot shot that he threw up in 5 seconds into the shot clock last week, or in the last game. But I don't know, man. Does it mean that he's going to get traded? Maybe, probably not, because I doubt the Mavs are going to move him unless they feel like they're getting equal value. So hopefully they work it out, whatever the issues are, and we can ride out this season, try to get into these playoffs and see if we can make some noise. Again, I'm not ready to go all the way in on, they don't get along. They're getting along well enough to win basketball games, and that's all I really care about. But there's been like some passes where Luka throws it to him and like doesn't make eye contact with him after. Like, just do what you do. Like, make the shot, make the dunk, whatever. And like KP like looks to him to like see if he's looking at him, and like he's not expecting it. It's not like it's a one-way street. There's like a two-way kind of issue there. KP doesn't like being looked off by Luka, all that good stuff. So I don't know, man. I don't think it's necessarily the Dennis Smith situation, which would be an interesting development, though. We'll see. I'm not 100% sold that the Mavs are planning, like, they must get rid of KP, but I would not be surprised if they're making some calls. But with that, folks, I'm gonna get up out of here. It is just after midnight on my side. I got to get up early tomorrow. Thank you again for tuning in. If you have not left a review, definitely hit me with that 5-star review. For those of you that have, thank you very much. But until next time, people, peace.